What's up, YouTube? Um, Puerto Ricans who are descended from Puerto Rico, and for those who live in Puerto Rico, there's only hope that it will become a country. But if people who show their arrogance for some, all you gotta do is do your own thing. Advocate for your island. For those who live in the USA or Puerto Rico, you must go to Puerto Rico on vacation, help create a funding for Puerto Rico so that they can one day create a passport. You must take a bigger step, and I know you can do it, but there is no giving up. Because I know 100%, I know why Puerto Rico can't be a state, because it causes people to protest, anger, and make them cut off the culture in the background. And it's gonna be a sad theory, and nobody wants that. Like, my thing is that I know it'll become a country one day. I know it will, but I have a right to advocate for the Puerto Rican people because I'm Puerto Rican. I was born in America, in New York, and I'm descendant from Puerto Rico. And I remember about Puerto Rican history. Back in those days, Venezuela was trying to help advocate Puerto Rico for their independence, but independence does fix the island's problem. It will educate the people of Puerto Rico. It doesn't mean that I'm putting the hate speech. Doesn't mean I'm being judgmental. There is no criticizing about this video. If some users on YouTube is listening to this is a good advice. My suggestion is that when you have time to visit Puerto Rico, you can go and you can go see the Independence Party woman who works in the office, and you have to create a funding program in order to gain its passport, because you must contain steps that will fix the island's problem. Okay? The Puerto Rican passport in the future, if it was independence, and I know for positively sure, it's gonna have a flag background for our island culture. Like, you gotta keep your heart strong and positive. Don't be around with some of the arrogant people who's pro-independent. Like, you have to stay positive about your island for some of you who are living in Puerto Rico. And if your election's about to come or soon, you need to pick the PIP. It stands for the Puerto Rican Independence Party. It means that this election will go to independence. It means Puerto Rico itself becomes its own country. It will mean that it will have its own passports, its own benefits, so that they'll be independent, owning an island. But as our own country, Puerto Ricans, for those who live there, must show self-responsibility of Puerto Rican, because it about Puerto Rico's independence that I'm discussing about for concerns is that we need a vice president or a Puerto Rican president of Puerto Rico who lives there and who works in the main office. Like, they have to veto and agree for laws if it's can't be allowed or not. So their job is to protect the citizens of Puerto Rico, because when Puerto Rico becomes independent, when time comes, they won't become American citizens no more. They're gonna be Puerto Rican citizens instead. But it's not ridiculous. This is not all about brainwash, okay? You gotta believe the positive thing that what will happen for Puerto Rico to become independent. Like, if you're not sure about something and concerned, you must go to the PIP party woman who works for Puerto Rico at its office. You go there once in a while, have a conversation with her. What you need to do as a step is try to create a funding program. Make sure that you take the big steps very seriously, okay? Don't give up. This video is all about peacefulness, about Puerto Rican island and the heritage. I want the best for Puerto Rico too in life. Like, if Puerto Rico was a country, I would love to visit there, but I can't, because Puerto Rico is going through a lot of depth. I have a right to advocate for my people, and I want what's the best for some of my people who want Puerto Rico to majority become independent. Well, the key is you gotta stop depending on the U.S. governor, which is not gonna fix the problem, which is causing more Puerto Rican protests, because some of you are depending on the U.S. governor. That's gonna fix the problem. It's not going to. It's not happening. That's why I read the Google website that it can't be a state. That's why right now it's a temporary U.S. territory. Like, you gotta be educated, and second, you gotta learn the term. What does independence mean? Independence means that a territory become its own country. It is not part of a state. It is not a commonwealth. It is not a free association. It means that it owns by itself and protects its own citizens on the island or in the land, on a country land that owned by their land. That's it. Well, my suggestion, just practice to become its own country of Puerto Rico right now and worry about your independence as possible. That's all I have to say. And I know the Puerto Rico people will get there to become a country so that they can create funding program first, then create a passport, then have its own president, because they need to have a president in order for them to be independent, and a vice president. Because I myself cannot remind you about all about these dumb politics, because statehood is not going to fix the problem, and those free association, no. That's the reason why that Puerto Rico makes a freedom debate, because I remember since 2020 or 2019, that happened in the Bronx in the incident of News 12. They said, no, we don't want our island to be statehood, no. And I was mad about it too, because there's some who want to depend on the United States, which is not part of the Spanish cultures, and it's not a key to do it. That's not how you fix the problem for the island. The way to fix the problem for the island is for you to write a list about what has to be done as a federal benefit, and you must create just like I said, you have to take baby steps to create a process for the island, you know. You cannot rush the steps, because then it gets uglier if you rush it. Don't do it. You have to take baby steps. You must go to a good advisor people. How can we have our island to become country? Then they'll give you the right advice. The advice is that you need to work on it. Practice self-responsibility for the citizens of Puerto Rico and be responsible. Just pretend and then show them that you want to be your own country. That's it. Because once you're in your own country, there's no turning back. They're going to keep the status permanent. And I'll be happy if Puerto Rico is a country permanently. So it won't be a commonwealth or a free association anymore. So it'll become a country. But it's not yet a country right now. It's still a territory, because of the debate went on the news. So if you're tired of hearing it every day, just don't watch it. Just write a journal. Just practice yoga, meditate. That's all you have to do. Like, my answers and my advice is that you need to have wisdom in yourself and positivity in your life, and advocate for your country of Puerto Rico's future right now. And of course, Puerto Rico will have a future unless they stop dwelling on it, unless that they put all the positive energy about becoming their own country, just like what happened to the Philippines, you know. Because I was using my AI artwork, and I had this dream that Puerto Rico will one day become a country, but they took baby steps to do it. And also having a nice president who rules Puerto Rico, and also he will take over the office of Puerto Rico. He's gonna be in a San Juan area, you know. But it's time for me to let Puerto Ricans figure out where the president will work in his office. Well, I'll be happy if I pay a president a visit in Puerto Rico, you know. I will, one day. Unless it's independent, you know. It's some of you who agree on independence for Puerto Rico. Just listen to my good advice. Take baby steps. Take serious notes. Talk to the PIP Independence Party woman who works for the independents, you know, to vote. And my wish for my best I'm gonna try to do is speak to the temporary NYC Election Center if I want Puerto Rico to be independent. That I cannot make a guarantee. So not everybody's happy about statehood. I'm not happy about it either. So if I was me, you just take advice to be independent on its own, because it would be better. We would have created our own cinema movies and all that, like other countries do, like Colombia, like Japan, Korea, Filipino, all that. All we do have to do is just believe in ourselves, and we can have freedom of religion for Puerto Rico as a law that people could have a right practicing Hinduism or Santa Dharma and Buddhism and some types of variety of religions, but it will not mean that no one's going to discriminate and judge people's beliefs, you know. You must look at the bright side of you in your soul plus your mind, you know. You must think about your people of Puerto Rico. What are they going through? What are they suffering? Like, if some Puerto Rico who are pro-independence and can't be truthful about independence, and they think that we can't be on our own, that means they're too independent. But if people do not care like that, just walk away from them. And I know independence is the key. And it does not make me arrogant, because people who think like that, who is pro-independent, who depends on the U.S. government, is showing arrogance. It's not showing a good kind of Puerto Rican politic belief in a good way, you know. Nothing's about politics, you know. It's about our Puerto Rican future to become a country, to take baby steps, not to judge, not to offend about its own status, you know. Nobody cannot do that. This is not about Puerto Rican politics. No. This is about our future, that we can advocate to stand up our own good rights, you know. And you must believe in yourself. And one day, one person, one man, or maybe a woman will be chosen to become the president of Puerto Rico, who will protect its own citizens and create laws. And they must be security guards restricted to protect the president from being shot or assassinated. That we do not want for Puerto Rico. We must learn how to be our own country. You know, we have to, because there is no time left for this year. This is a new year right now. You must think about good things about communities in Puerto Rico. Environments, all that, you know, what's best, you know. Try to practice to invent technology, you know. And also for entertainment, try to make movies in Puerto Rico. Any genre movies, you know, even documentaries. If some of you are actors of Puerto Rico, must believe in yourself. Have a skill. What I have to say is that you must have proud heart in just here, you know, and even in your mind in a positive way, you know. The arrogance, the pro-independence is not doing nothing. You must rely on the independence, because it's our key to fix the island's problem. You know, taking steps is important, because think about that we can get a passport. We gotta create a funding for doing that, and we must write notes. How can the funding work in process? What has to be done first majorly for the island of Puerto Rico, you know. We remember since years ago, there were some people, Puerto Rican islands were slaves in that time. We were in the Spanish-American War once, Then after that, we accidentally got lost, you know, because we lost some our things, like our money. That doesn't mean hatefulness. That happened since World War, years ago. So we're not going to go through that no more. We just want our good independence back to become a country. We deserve to have a president for Puerto Rico. We deserve to have a passport for Puerto Rican citizens who live in Puerto Rico, you know. We deserve to create good businesses too, you know. And good companies, plus repairing schools from hurricanes, you know, meaning the damages from schools when they got abandoned. We all should be educated in Puerto Rico. There should be a lot of schools, a lot of colleges, universities, yes, and even kindergarten. Everyone must be thankful for Puerto Rico, where they live at, you know. But what they're doing for some, they're trying to depend on the U.S. governor. No, it's never going to be the answer. And People keep telling them, and they don't stop. They don't take it seriously. Independence is a solution for the island, not free association, not statehood. No, because if it was, I wouldn't want to visit Puerto Rico ever. And second, no person has a right to be upset about independence. No one has to. Because when Puerto Rico becomes independent, it means it'll become its own country, its own island, plus its own responsibilities. And that's what it means. Think about it in a positive way. You cannot let pro-independence take your mind for some of you. Don't ever let your negative mind all about depending on U.S. governor. This is not going to fix the problem for Puerto Rico and its environment, because it's not part of the Spanish cultures, meaning the United States. No, United States, it's its own country. Same thing with Philippines, same thing with all the countries. There's some territories that used to be part of the territory. Like, for example, Fiji was part of the British territory. Guess what? They quit being a territory. They don't want to be part of the British. Why? Because they're afraid that they will corrupt their land, okay? They don't want that to happen. They want to protect their citizens on the island. So they go tell the British people, we want Fiji Island to be independent for us. We do not want to be part of your British state or whatever. We want to be independent of our own, and we want to be our own country. You must act like a good advocate person who wants to be its own country for Puerto Rico. And I will do the same thing in a very better way. You cannot judge others like that. And I know it's the way out, you know. So if you enjoy this broadcast, you can suggest comments. No rude comments. Be respectful. So, you YouTubers and some of you in Puerto Rico who are descended from America, if when you have time, visit Puerto Rico. Talk to the governor and the Senate about creating the funding and taking baby steps about independence. Put your mind on it in a very important way, because this is a new year right now. I want what's the best for you, for Puerto Ricans, you know. And don't forget, when we're our own country, we're Puerto Rican citizens, but not right now. Just think what's happening in a positive way by taking a baby step, okay? Never give up. So enjoy your day. Bye now.